There's an expression that if it's important enough to teach it, then it's important enough to test it. There's a lot of truth to that. However, in reality, you can't test everything that you've taught in the class. There's just simply too many interactions and sidebar conversations that go on to be able to do that. In step one, there are 4 aspects that I'd like you to consider, and those focus on outcomes, your lesson plans, coming up with an adequate sample size, and also the topic of alignment. So back to the first one, outcomes. In your first step, what we want you to do is to actually step back and ask yourself, what are the most important outcomes from that unit, from that section of the course that you've just taught, that you want this test, this exam to have on? What knowledge, understanding, or ability, skill, application do you want your students to be able to perform? As the content expert, as you're designing this exam, this would be fairly easy for you to determine. The second consideration focuses on your lesson plans. Go back and take a look at your lesson plans. What was taught in that class? What discussions took place in those lessons? What problems did you have them wrestle with? What assignments or activities took place in those lesson plans? There's all kinds of great content there to be able to draw from for your exam. The third consideration focuses on sample size. How many questions do you want to have on your exam regarding that particular outcome? There are those that say the more important the outcome, the more important questions, the more number of questions you should have on your test. And lastly, the topic of alignment. Your test, your exam that you're developing, should be in alignment with the same level that your lessons were taught. So if you're teaching a basic and entry-level course, you wouldn't expect to be asking high level evaluation and analytical questions. You are basically, for an entry-level course, checking for understanding and comprehension. So in a basic first aid course, you wouldn't expect to walk in and take that exam and find a 1,000-word essay on cutting-edge neurosurgery procedures. So take a look at your outcomes, your lesson plans, think about sample size, and also alignment in step one.